There is a popular saying in leadership that if you think you're leading and there's nobody following you, you are only going on a walk. On this platform, you are going to learn principles of leadership. You are going to encounter different leaders. You are going to learn about how you can grow as a leader, how you can make an impact. My name is Samuel Eyim, and I'm the host for the leadership platform. I am a leadership coach, a lawyer by profession, a John C. Maxwell certified coach. I have been in corporate life in senior positions for several years, and now I run the Center for Transformational Leadership, where we train and coach leaders to become better leaders. And I invite you to go on a journey with us as we discuss the subject of leadership in the coming weeks.
This and every Saturday, you have opportunity to ask questions, share your views on important leadership matters.
Hi dear friend, my name is Samuel Eyim, and I'm the CEO for the Center for Transformational Leadership. And I'm bringing to you the growth journey. We've set aside 15 weeks of growth to help you to be intentional about your growth. Where do you want to reach in your leadership? Which area of your life do you want to grow in? Growth doesn't just happen. It has to be intentional. So in these 15 weeks, we're going to have a special coaching sessions with you to be able to grow to where you want to grow. And to be able to grow yourself, you need to know yourself. A lot of us are not achieving the maximum we can achieve because we have not invested in our personal growth. We're going to help you in all and more within these 15 weeks. Every week we'll have a session with you. This program is limited to only 15 people. We're going to have 15 people for 15 weeks, and we're going to learn 15 great growth lessons on this journey. So make a date with us and see you on the growth journey. Hello, dear leader. My name is Samuel Eyim, Chief Leadership Coach at the Center for Transformational Leadership in Africa, CTL Africa. And I have an important invitation for you. Why are some nations developed and thriving, while others are underdeveloped and struggling? Why are some businesses flourishing and others languishing? Why are some churches growing and others dying? These are important questions for leaders. So are you a leader? At what level are you leading? What impact are you making? What is your understanding and concept of leadership? The way you think about leadership is the way you do leadership. And as John Maxwell says, everything rises and falls on leadership. Leadership is the cause, all others are the effect. So, at the Center for Transformational Leadership, we've created this program to help you transform your understanding of leadership. This program is going to be based on John C. Maxwell's book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. As a John C. Maxwell certified coach, I'm going to walk you through these laws, and we're going to give you exercises and activities around these laws to help install a new transforming concept of leadership for you. This will change the way you do leadership completely. So I invite you to check our website and our social media pages and to register for the Leadership Mindset Enhanced program. This program is on 2 levels. The first level is understanding the laws of leadership, where we are going to walk you through the laws of leadership in 3 to 5 days. And this will give you the foundations of leadership. The second level is walking the laws of leadership. Here, we take you through a 15-week journey through the laws of leadership. Every week, you will have opportunity to study one law, apply the law throughout the week, meditate upon it, do the exercises, and regroup with other like-minded people who are learning the laws of leadership, exchange ideas, and share your lessons. So do not miss this opportunity. Register now for the Leadership Mindset and Asset program.
Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning from wherever you're joining us. And welcome once again to the Leadership Platform, which is brought to you by CTL Africa. It's a pleasure to be hosting today's Leadership Platform as we have as our guest the original host of the platform, Sam Eyim. Before I go on to invite Sam. I would like those of us who are joining us, wherever you're joining us from, please put your name and let us know where you're joining us. I am joining from Geneva, Switzerland, and it's a pleasure to be with all of you. We don't take it for granted that you join us every Saturday. So let me see who is here. Nobody has written or typed in his name or her name yet. So I'll just give a quick overview of what we're going to do today. Those of you who are joining us for the first time will have our guest speaker speak to us, who is Samuel Eyim. He will speak to us for about 20 to 30 minutes, and then we'll have an opportunity to ask questions. And I'll request all of you to put your questions as Sam is sharing with us in the comments. And as Kofi shared earlier, we are on Facebook, LinkedIn, as well as YouTube. Like our pages and subscribe so that we'll be able to always bring you new content. Last week, we all looked at the title. Let me get it 1 second. We looked at the topic that Sam is sharing with us. He says, winning with people, principles, and strategies for optimizing people relationships. We started with part 1 last week, and we looked at the principle, the first principle, which is readiness. He gave us 5 principles, and today we're going to look at the second principles, and we'll do that over the next 2 weeks. So stay tuned and make sure that you join us so you get a full lesson so you can improve your relationship with people and become a good leader. Since I don't have anybody saying hello, Sam, I will not waste time. I'll invite you to come onto the call now if you are able to. And let me see. So as you know, Sam is the host of the Leadership Platform. He is a lawyer by profession, trained lawyer who practiced for over 25 years in corporate. And since then, he's been really a leadership coach, executive coach. He is the CEO of the Center for Transformational Leadership, and he coaches across the continent and globally. He has been your host, and today he's going to be our speaker. So, Sam, without much ado, I'll invite you to take the floor and take us to the second principle of how we can be effective as leaders in our relationships. So, over to you, Sam.
Thank, thank you very much, Sarah. Thank you so much for holding the fort with us and always joining us from Geneva. So, welcome once again, everybody. I see Isaac Ayiku is already here. So, please go ahead and just introduce yourself. We're going to continue the series that we started last week, Winning with People, Principles and Strategies for Optimizing People Relationships. And as we indicated to you last week, these principles are being taken from John C. Maxwell's book with the same title, Winning with People. We've just added a few ideas here and there and our own examples to bring the principles home. So I encourage everyone to get the book, Winning with People. I know some of us find it sometimes difficult to read. So when we bring you these overviews and share our own experiences with you, we're hopeful that you'll be able to go ahead and get a book and read it and expand your influence. So last week, as Sarah said, we shared the importance of leadership, which is influence. And we indicated that influence with people is the core of leadership. So if you're going to lead at any level, you need to learn how to influence people. We introduce you to the law of buy-in that says that people first buy into the leader before they buy into his vision. So vision is a very important part of leadership. But you can have the most brilliant vision. If people don't trust you, if they don't buy into you, they may not be able to buy into your vision or even your strategy. And strategy is also very important. But people have to buy into you first before they see where they follow you to where you are going. They have to trust you. We also shared with you some research finding that shows the importance of human skills and human relationships. And we indicated to you that 70% of all job separations are attributable to poor relationships. And a lot of, over 100% of all counseling relationships, usually marriage and other relationship, is all based on people relationship. So we shared with you 5 big questions that you need to ask yourself to be able to relate well with people. And the 5 questions we shared with you are we prepared for a relationship? We need to answer that question because everything starts with me. Everything starts with you. So if you are not prepared for a relationship, then don't start at all. Number 2 is a connection question. Are we willing to focus on others? Are we willing to focus on others? The third is the trust question. Can we build mutual trust? Then the fourth, are we willing to invest in others? And can we create a win-win relationship, which is the synergy question? So these 5 questions are what we are trying to answer in the series that we are doing today. Last week, we dwell on the first question on are we prepared for relationship? And this week, as Sarah says, we are going to dwell on the connection question. Now, we indicated last week that there were 5 principles under the question of readiness. The lens principle, who you are determines, how you see others. and all your makeup, your personality, your experiences come to play. So you have to start with yourself. The mirror principle is the first person to examine must be ourselves. You have to look into yourself and examine yourself in every relationship situations. If you don't examine yourself, then we are not going to make progress. We looked at the pain principle, we look at the hammer principle, and we look at the elevator principle. We can take people up, we can bring them down. So we go on today to the next question, which is the question of connection. The question of connection. So if you're able to see my slides, the question we are answering this evening to improve our relationship is, are we willing? Are we willing to focus on others? As they say, it takes two to tango. Relationship naturally implies two or more people. We've looked at the initiator of the relationship, which is me, you. You are the first person in that equation. The next person in the equation is the other person. There cannot be a fight with one person, even though it is true that sometimes we struggle with ourselves. But when we are dealing with relationships, we are dealing with two or more people coming together. We've looked at you as the first part of the equation. Today we are looking at the other person and how your right mindset, attitude, beliefs about the other person can help impact your relationship positively or negatively. It's very, very important for us to understand the connection principle. How do you connect with others? How do you relate with others? How do you show up with others? How do you come into the picture of relationship? These are some of the questions that this principle will help us understand. So the first principle, there are about 6 principles around this, which we are going to look at. The first one is the big picture principle. The big picture principle, which says that the entire population of the world, with one minor exception, is composed of others. The entire population of the world, with one minor exception, is composed of others. And John F. Kennedy will say, oh my God, I see is so grand and my boat is so small. If you look at the world as a sea and you look at yourself as a boat, in the scheme of things, you are important, but you're not that important. Albert Einstein says that a person will start to live where he can live outside of himself. If you begin to live outside of yourself, then you are beginning to live truly. In other words, you are not an island. You cannot live in this world on your own and be happy. We hear of loneliness and I'm lonely and so forth. People become lonely because they don't have relationship. But if you're going to build relationship, you have to understand that in the bigger scheme of things, we have over 7 billion people living in this planet. You are important and you can make significant contribution to this world, to this planet, because individuals have made significant contributions. But in the scheme of things, you alone are not important. Now, look, take a look at what is happening in Palestine, between Palestine and Israel currently. In a day, Palestinians went in, they killed over 1,500 or so people, killed them, gone. Israel moves in with its machines, and as we speak, in the last few weeks, they've killed over 10,000 people. So, I mean, if they're counting well, you know, 12,000 people died in just a space of few weeks. The world is talking, the world is crying, their parents and relatives are crying, and it's painful to them as it is. But the world is still going on. The world is still going on. Earthquakes happen, several people die. Accidents happen, several people die, but the world still goes on. That should tell us something, that you are important, but you are actually not that important. There are others who will continue. So the work you're doing that you feel so important about, the position that you have that you feel that everybody else should worship you, the next day you may not have that position again, and that organization will still continue. So when you are dealing with people, when you are relating with people, remember that principle. Look at the big picture and understand that the world is made up of people. So to be able to apply the big picture principle, you have to have a different perspective. You have to get out of your own small world. You have to develop maturity, and you have to take responsibility. Now, we have all been children, and we know, even if we don't remember how we behaved as children, we've all observed the way children behave. Children believe that the whole world revolves around them. When they are hungry, everything must stop. When they need something, it must be given to them. When you give something to a child, the next minute, if you want it back, you won't get it. The child's mentality is very simple. Everything revolves around me. If I like it, it is mine. If I'm holding it, it is mine, even if it is yours. If you gave it to me just a while ago, it is mine. If you are enjoying, you look at children and somebody is enjoying with his toy. The next child look at how he's enjoying with his toy, and he goes and takes the toy because you are enjoying too much, so it is mine, I should take it. Children have this mentality that everything revolves around them. If you are playing with it and you just drop it down for a while, it is mine. The only time that it is not mine is when it is broken. That's how children behave. Once the toy is broken, you see the child bringing it to you, back to you, daddy, take it. Why? Because the toy is broken. That is the perspective of children. Sometimes 40 years, 50 years old people like us behave the same way. We have the child's perspective of the world, and we think that everything revolves around us and everything should be for us and everybody should pay attention to us. If you have this mentality, you are not going to be able to build relationship, because you're going to be hurt every day because somebody didn't give you something, because somebody took something, because somebody is enjoying too much, and you're upset in your own corner. You have to get out of your own little world, and you have to grow to maturity. Maturity is not just about age. Okay, sometimes some people, age comes with maturity, but a lot of the time, maturity is lagging behind so many of us. We are 40 years, 50 years, and we are still not here. We are not checking our own ego. We are still keeping our egos, and we say we want to go into it. Especially, this is more important in marital relationships. When I was not married, I have so much freedom. I could stay out there till midnight. I could do whatever I wanted, and nobody cares. These days, when it's 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and I'm not home, I just feel guilty. I feel like I have to go. Sometimes my friends, I say, but what's wrong with you? It's only 9 o'clock. But it's 9 o'clock, but I have to go home because I have a wife, I have children, and I have to go home. And I'll have to answer questions. Why are you staying out too late? It's 9 o'clock, it's 10 o'clock, it's 12 o'clock. You have to give explanation, reasonable explanation why you are staying out so late. But if you're not prepared to give that explanation, then it means you're not ready for responsibility. Okay? So understand that when you take responsibility for yourself and for others, it is only then that fulfillment comes. You don't get fulfilled just by staying in your own corner. So you have to change your perspective, you have to mature, and you have to take responsibility if you understand the big picture principle. So that is the big picture principle. The second principle is the exchange principle. And the question you must ask yourself is, if I am trying to see from the other people's point of view, am I making every effort to see from other people's point of view? Now, sometimes when you are upset and you are in a relationship, you say, leave me alone, I'm going to give him my peace of mind. And somebody has said, sometimes when you give people your peace of mind, you lose your own peace of mind. When you give people your peace of mind, you sometimes lose your own peace of mind. You don't get peace. You give them your peace of mind, you shout on them, you bring them down, and you gain what? The exchange principle says, instead of putting others in their place, we must put ourselves in their place. Stephen Covey says, first try to understand, then be understood. When you are in a difficult relationship and you begin to ask yourself, what is the other person thinking? What is the other party? How is he feeling about this situation? That is the beginning of trying to exchange. And there are 4 points here. The first is to leave your place and visit the other person's place. That's what we are trying to see. Put yourself in his shoe, wear the other person's shoes, because if you're not in that person's shoes, you will not know how he's feeling. You have to be in that person's position to know. So you ask yourself, where is he coming from? Why is he angry? Why is he upset? What could be the reason? Begin to ask yourself, what could be the reason why? And genuinely try to understand why that person can be upset or not. Acknowledge that the other person has a valid viewpoint. A lot of the time, when you are pushing your viewpoint, you believe in your own point. You believe that what you are saying is correct. But it is the same with the other person. So if I believe I am right, and he also believes he's right, and everybody is standing on their own rightness, then we are not going to resolve any issues. But the exchange principle says, move from your place, go to his place. Assume you are the one pushing that argument. What could be the reasons? It's just like when we were in school and we used to do debate. They give you a debate topic and you are either for or against. Whichever position they give to you, you try as much as possible to look for argument to sustain that position. If you are for the position, sometimes the subject they give you, you comfortably, you don't believe that it is true is the position. You believe that it is false. But they've given you, they say, argue for the position that all human beings are wise. That's the proposition they've given you. And they say, argue for it. What do? You go and look for every reason to establish that all human beings are wise. But when they give you the other position and say, argue against the motion, you do the same thing. You go and look for every argument to support the position that, no, not every human being is wise. Now, if you get that mentality and acknowledge that the other person's viewpoint could also be valid, then you can bring down your own viewpoint and begin to ask, what are the reasons for this position you are holding? Can you explain it a bit better? Can I understand you? Let me understand where you are coming from. That is the exchange principle. This requires us to check our own attitude, because you cannot put yourself in somebody's shoes when you don't genuinely want to build relationship. You have to come in with the attitude that I really want to understand. I really want to get you. But if you're coming with a position that, look, I'm right, but okay, you just talk. Let me hear you. And without the intention of understanding, you're not going to get anywhere. And the best tool is to ask others what they would do if they were in your situation. Now, when you are in a very difficult situation, whether it's marital, whether it is work relationship, whether it's a friendship relationship, and things are very difficult, one way to be able to understand where the other people are coming is to go to somebody that you feel respected and ask them, what will you do if you were in my position? In fact, sometimes even the person you have a situation with, it would be good to ask, boss, what will you do if you were the subordinate and I were the boss and I took this position? What will you do? Now, that would force the person or whoever to share with you different perspectives. And so ask people, ask others what they would do if they are in this situation with you. That is the exchange principle. Put yourself in the other person's shoe. Move from your position and go into the other. Let the person also come into your position. If the two of us are prepared to exchange our places, we will make a headway in the relationship. That is the exchange principle under connection. Putting others first in the relationship. All right. Now, the third principle, excuse me, is the learning principle. The learning principle. The learning principle says each person we meet has the potential to teach us something. And I believe in this with all my heart. Each person you meet, whether he's the cleaner in your office, whether he is the lowest rank in the office, whether he's the housemaid, whether he's the street vendor, whoever you meet, understand that these people, everybody has experiences, a set of knowledge that you may not have acquired in your 40 years, 50 years life. Somebody may just be 5 years old and they may know something that you don't know. I learn a lot from my own children because they have the privilege of going to the best schools in the world. I didn't have that opportunity. I went to the worst school in the world. One teacher teaching the whole school. Sometimes he's not there. And it's other students, other pupils who are coming to teach you, walking 7 kilometers. There was only one book that I read one line, the other person read the other line, the other person read the other line, they close the book and they lock it. I didn't have that opportunity. But my children go to the best schools. At their age, they all have their laptops, they have that, they learn, they can connect to friends, they go to international schools, they have relationship with others. And sometimes when I say something from my village background, they look at me and say, Daddy, this is that, this is that. No, that's not it. And I listen to them. I learn because they have opportunities that I didn't have. I'm almost 60. They are my children, but I learn from them. I was company secretary. I will give my script, my minutes to my secretary to say, read through it. They will see things that I don't see. The learning principle is to ask yourself the question, do I approach people with a desire to learn from them? Do I approach people with a desire to learn from them, or I approach people with a desire to teach them something? Very often we are sitting in our high horses, we see everybody and we want to lecture them. And I do that often because I read a lot and I learn a lot and I like to share knowledge. So immediately something comes, quickly I want to pour the information I have learned or read and I'm sharing. And sometimes I go to a certain point and I realize that people are not interested. And then you feel discouraged. But if you start with learning from them, they sharing their knowledge and you be willing to learn from them, then they will also be willing to learn from you. Louis Armstrong says there are some people that if they don't know, you cannot tell them. When I was in junior secondary school, we used to have a say, if you don't know and you don't know that you don't know, he who does not know and does not know that he does not know is a fool. And there are some of us like that. We don't know. We do not know that we do not know, and we are not prepared to learn. There are some people who do not just want to learn, but you don't want to be like that. You want to have a growth mentality. So quickly, to improve in the learning principle, make learning your passion. Make learning your passion. Be willing to learn and grow. Look, learning doesn't stop. Of the making of many books, there is no end, the Bible says. There is no end to knowledge. You cannot know everything, even in the field that they call you an expert. The expert of leadership, John Maxwell, will tell you he's still learning. Every day, he's learning. The leadership thing is not finished. You're an accountant. You may have finished your ACCA, but that doesn't mean you know everything about accounting. You're a lawyer of whatever standing, 20 years. Last time I checked, I was 30 years at the bar. But that doesn't mean anything. There are some lawyers who are coming from school who know better because they are getting the freshest learnings in the law, which I don't know. Make learning a passion. Value people. When you value people, you put a high price on them and you are prepared to learn from them. But if you look down upon people, then you don't think you can learn from them. Number 3, develop relationship with growth potentials. Look for people you can learn from and build relationship with them. Check your network of friends. Are they growing? Are people in your network growing, or they're just at the same place and they don't want to go anywhere else? Quit that relationship and build relationship that will challenge you. John Maxwell again has said, if you are the head of your class, every time you are the head of your class, then you are in the wrong class. Every time you are the head of your class. When I was in primary school, the teachers when I was in primary 2, they will come and call me from primary 2 to primary 3 because they have asked them some questions they could not answer, and they will ask me to answer the questions, and I'll answer those questions. But they kept me in the same class too, even though I could answer the questions for the class 3 people. I was in the wrong class. They should have promoted me. But I went there, answered the question, and they gave me a cane, and I whipped all of them. And the day that I whip them, that is trouble, because to go home is a problem, because the big boys that you whip are waiting for you to beat you. But that is the point. You have to develop relationships that have growth mentality. Move to the other class where you'll be challenged. Identify people's uniqueness and strength. Everybody you meet has a unique thing about him. No matter who he is, there's something unique. God did not make photocopies. Every human being God made is unique. And there is something you can learn from them. The other thing you have to check is to ask questions. When you meet people, just ask them questions. What is your name? Where do you come from? What is your favorite this? What is your favorite that? Oh, you studied this. How did you find that learning? How did it help you in this field? Just ask questions. When you begin to ask people questions, they feel valued. They feel respected. And they are willing to go with you because you value them and you respect them. That is the learning principle. We go to the next principle, which is the charisma principle, the 4th principle here, and we'll go through it very quickly. The charisma principle simply says that people are interested in the person who is interested in them. Charisma is not about you. Charisma is how you make others feel. When you interact with people, how do they make you feel? Are you interested in them? Are you interested in what they are doing? If the person is telling you what is going on, And as a parent, sometimes I go home very tired, and my children want to tell me about school. Oh, daddy, this thing happened and that's okay. Can we talk about this tomorrow? And that's the end of the relationship. And at one point, when I started to talk to my children about something, they say, "Oh, daddy, you don't even know us." And that day it just pierced me in my heart. I didn't know them because I have not paid attention. I was busy running around and doing all sort of things. And many of us are like that. We have to be interested in the people we work with, interested in the people around us. We have to spend time with people. These days, the people I work with, I try to understand what's going on in your life, what's going on with your family, what's going on with your children. When you are interested in people, then you begin to build a relationship with them. So you must always ask yourself the question, do I usually focus on others and their interests or on my own? Do you focus on other people and their interests or on your own interest? That is not in line. If you focus on your own interest, you're not in line with the charisma principle. Dale Carnegie says, you can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people than you can make in 2 years by trying to get others to be interested in you. I say it again. You can make more friends in 2 months by becoming interested in other people than you can make in 2 years by trying to get other people to be interested in you. That is the charisma principle. Try to get people to be interested, to try to get interested in people instead of getting them to be interested in you. The fifth principle, and we're about to end here, is the number 10 principle. Now, when we were in school, when we did exercises, we were marked over 10. 5 over 10, 2 over 10. Sometimes you got 0 over 10. And you get 10 over 10 and you're excited. You want everybody to see your script because it's written 10 over 10. The teacher likes you. You like the teacher who gives you 10 over 10. You know, so like they say, the pigeon, yeah, you feel proud. You love that teacher who gives you 10 over 10. You're so proud of yourself when you're given 10 over 10. And that is what the number 10 principle says. Believing the best in people usually brings the best in them. Believing the best in people usually brings the best in them. In other words, if you begin to look for the good in people and focus on the good and give them the 10, the high five, for the good in them, instead of looking for the negative and the weaknesses in them, they begin to live up. Experiment has been done with schools and psychologists. One experiment was done. A teacher was given a class of 10 pupils, and he was told, just randomly, Kwesi, Mansa, Akosia, these 5 children, they are very, very weak in this subject. They've been done some psycho tests to show that they are weak. But this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, they are brilliant. They are very high. They were just chosen randomly like that. And they put the experiment for a period of time. And the teacher was with these people. So the teacher comes into the class with these 5 students in his mind that they are brilliant. And he treated them like that they are brilliant. And then the other 5, who he had a view of them that they are very weak and poor, they have low IQ, he treated them like that. He started treating them as if they are not good, and he started shouting on them and tried to, treat them badly and so on and so forth. And the others respected them, valued them. And at the end, when they compared, the kids that were said to be good students from day one did much better than those who were said not to be good, even though they were all having the same IQ level to start with. The reason was simple. The teacher believed the best in the 5, and he believed the worst in the other, and his relationship with them brought out the worst in them. And that is what we do when you don't believe in people. When you believe only the worst in them, these people I work with are useless. They have nothing. They can't do anything. That is what we get from them. All right. Now, the last principle on this, and we open the floor for discussion, is the confrontation principle. Conflict in relationship is normal. Conflict will come. No matter how you love each other, you're going to fight. And I had a pastor who, as part of his counseling and preparation for marriage, will ask the couple, have you guys fought before? And he says that each time the couple comes and says, no, pastor, the way we love each other, no, we've not fought before. He will say, well, then you're not ready for your marriage. Go, and when you fight and you resolve your fight, come and let us continue with the counseling. And the people were usually not, but what? Why, pastor? I mean, do you want us to just fight? And you say no. If you haven't fought and resolved your conflicts, when you go into marriage, you're going to have a hell of time. If you go into this marriage with the mentality that we love each other, we are not going to fight and this and that, you're going to have the shock of your life. You're going to fight. In every relationship, in the account, they say, dear ebeno and echi, the two pieces that are close to each other that will scratch each other. Okay? So there will always be confrontation. But how do you deal with it? The confrontation principle says, caring for people should precede confronting them. Caring for people should precede confronting them. In other words, the question I must ask myself in this relationship is, do I care enough to confront the person in the right way? Because what I've seen from my experience is that when you don't care enough about people, you confront with them anyhow. You just, treat them anyhow. If it's your boss and you don't care about your boss anyhow, when you have an issue, what will he do? I don't care. You can fire me from this job. I don't care. In the same way, when the boss doesn't care much about this person, if the person were late for a minute, the way he would treat the person and shout on the person is different from the person he cares about. Maybe late for 5 minutes, and you will have a different conversation, a different tone. And that is it. If you care about somebody, you will find the best way to confront. And the principle, especially when we're treating with people in groups, in teams, is to praise in public and to confront or rebuke in private. If you care about people and their growth, the way you confront them is to help them, is to approach it with a loving spirit. You love with, or you correct with love. That is the confrontation principle. Care about people enough to find the best way to confront with them. As somebody has said, conflict is like cancer. Early detection increases the possibility of a healthy outcome. If you understand that conflict is going to come anyway, and you change your mentality about this situation and find a better way to deal with conflict, you'll be able to make good relationships. So what are we learning? We are learning the connection principle. The connection principle simply is saying that, are we willing, ready to focus on others in the relationship? Last week we've learned, focus on yourself, examine yourself, look into yourself. You are the first person to examine. Once you've done that, the next is you have to focus on the other person. And we've looked at the big picture principle, the entire population of the universe, with one little exception, which is you. is made up of others. So understand that the exchange principle, instead of putting others in their place, put yourself in their place. That is the exchange principle. The learning principle, each person we meet has something to teach us. We can learn from every person we meet. The charisma principle, people are interested in the person who is interested in them. So be interested in people. The number 10 principle says, believing the best in people usually will bring the best out of them. And finally, the confrontation principle, caring for people should precede confronting them. Care for people enough to find the best way to confront them. And Sarah, that is my presentation for this week. And next week, we're going to move on to the other principle. We're going to look at the question of trust and so on and so forth, and synergy and investment in people. So make a date next week. Don't miss the rest. There are more principles that we'll learn to enrich your relationship. Thank you very much for your attention. Ready for questions? And
hi, dear friend. My name is Samuel Ayim, and I'm the CEO for the Center for Transformational Leadership. And I'm bringing to you the growth journey. We've set aside 15 weeks of growth to help you to be intentional about your growth. Where do you want to reach in your leadership? Which area of your life do you want to grow in? Growth doesn't just happen. It has to be intentional. So in these 15 weeks, we're going to have special coaching sessions with you to be able to grow to where you want to grow. And to be able to grow yourself, you need to know yourself. A lot of us are not achieving the maximum we can achieve because we have not invested in our personal growth. We're going to help you in all and more within these 15 weeks. Every week we'll have a session with you. This program is limited to only 15 people. We're going to have 15 people for 15 weeks, and we're going to learn 15 great growth lessons on this journey. So make a date with us and see you on the growth journey.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much, Sam. Thank you so much for all these great principles. So let me see from our viewers, which of the 5 principles that Sam shared with us resonated with you? Please type your takeaways in the chat. And as you do so, I'm looking to see whether we have any questions that may have come up. Since most of you did not announce yourself, I'll take the opportunity to do so now whilst you type in your comments. So we have Isaac Ayukukwashi saying hello from Tanzania. Great to have you. And we have, is it Havo Vignon from Togo. Great to have you. And then William Dafoe from Tema, and Douglas also from Tema, and Francisca from Domi St. John's. Great to have all of you here. And the following people who have also announced themselves is Joyce from Gomoafete, Dennis from Sakumono, Lakwe from Accra, Willie from Pubiman, Accra. Her Ladyship, Cynthia Matheson, says good evening. And Kwame JB says, watching from Bexley. Great stuff. Wonderful. Her Ladyship says, please, how do I work with the challenging principle, the charisma principle, if I also want to respect the private space of my subordinates? So Sam, that is the first question that has come. Whilst the others type out their takeaways and questions, if you could come onto the screen, you can first take the first question from Her Ladyship. How do I work with the charisma principle if I also want to respect the private space of my subordinates.
Okay. So let's restate the charisma principle. It says that people are interested in the people who are interested in them. So being interested in people doesn't necessarily mean, crossing the barrier and going into too much of their privacy. You have to respect the privacy. Being interested in people, you can go as far as the people are willing to open up to you. But the most important thing is this. When you have a genuine interest in people, you are looking out for their interests. You are looking out for what is good for them. You are looking out for ways to support them. And as long as you are looking out for ways to support them, you would ask them, how can I help you? So let's say you have sometimes you have some people and they don't want to open up. They really don't want to open up. They are having issues in their marriage, but they really don't want to open up. But you as a boss, you can see they have issues because you are interested in them. But sometimes some bosses do not even see, cry, like they will say in Ghana. You are hurting, and all they are concerned about is the work. And that doesn't help, because when you are just asking, task, give me the report, give me that, and you're not even looking into their eyes and see the message that is coming. Look into their faces and see the message that is coming. Just looking into your subordinates' eyes, observing their manners, observing even the way they are walking, how they are coming. This is one person who was always punctual to work. And in the last few days, you are seeing that things, they are coming a bit late. Being interested in them is to call the person, Jack, in the last few days, I see you coming quite late. What is there anything bothering you? What is it? You used to be the first person here. These days, you are always the last, or you are coming a bit late. What's going on? Is there anything that we can do to help? Please. Now, when the person feels genuinely that you are interested, they will open up. It doesn't necessarily mean that when you ask, they will tell you everything. Sometimes they will say, oh, boss, it's nothing. I'll try. Next time I'll come. The next time they'll come early. You still have to just check on them. Jack, how are you? Is everything okay? Don't worry. If they're not prepared to open up, you cannot force it. But when they feel genuinely that you are interested in them, they will open up. Okay? And it is very, very natural to human beings. When you know that the people are interested in you and they are not going to pick information so that they're going to punish you, then they will open up. But if they're not prepared to open up, if they want to keep their private space, please let them keep their private spaces, as long as it's not affecting the work, as long as it's not affecting their interest. But being interested in people also means that you are looking for opportunities to promote them, promote not in terms of rank, but giving them opportunity to grow. You are interested in what will help them. I mean, we used to have a boss who would read a book and he just knows that this particular page or something will be useful for you. He will bring it to you and cut off that page and send it to you by email or something. Or he will buy books for us and say, this is a good book, guys, get it. You travel as a boss, you're interested in your people, just buy a little chocolates for them. Little things like that. People feel that, oh, this boss cares. As they said, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. All this is about how you care about the people. And the more you care, the more they will open up. They will even tell you things that you don't want to hear. You get to a point, you say, it's okay. All right. So her ladyship, that will be my response. Don't break the barrier yourself. Let them open the door for you. Show them concern, show them love. be interested in their growth, be interested in their life, be interested in their family, asking them, how's your family, how's your life, wife, and so forth. How many children do you have? Basic things like that. Oh, how are they? They're in school or they're on holiday. Just basic things like that would open the doors. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sam. I can see her leadership saying, thank you, you are indeed a great teacher. I don't have any questions, and I have a comment from Daniel Opong Yina, who says, great session, really impactful, Mr. Ayim. And since there are no questions, I will just add to what Sam has said about how you can live out the charisma principle. Also, sometimes what helps is knowing the style, the how do we say, the temperament of the people that you work with. There are some people who are introverts. So know that with the introverts, you will have to ask a lot of times before they open up. People who are sanguine or they have the I principle, they are very talkative. Even when you say, how are you, already they'll tell you what is happening in their lives. So knowing the temperament also helps. And just also as coaches, what we do, as some said, observing, with you observing, saying, this is the observation that I have made. Tell me more about it if the person opens up, or if not, you just leave it. As soon as you just say the observation, the person will just nod their head or shake their head, and then you can take it further. These are just simple tips. So, Sam, I don't see any questions here. And let me see whether I do have questions, because for me, it was very straightforward, and I've taken lots of notes. What I wanted our viewers to do is to really put in the chat, the comments, what is the principle that they are taking with them, which one they are going to act upon, what they are going to change, or what they are going to teach. And for me, one of my greatest takeaway that I am taking is the one from the learning principle, the point about identifying the uniqueness and strengths of people. And I love what you said, that God did not make photocopies. That really struck home for me, so that I need to treat people in a unique way and not ask them to behave like I do behave. So that is my takeaway. That's my one takeaway. So I'd love to hear you viewers to come up with what you're taking away. Today, you've been very, very quiet. If not, I'll ask they've been quiet, Sam. I believe that the teaching was very succinct and straightforward. It was very easy to follow. So we just want to acknowledge you and say thank you for this lovely teaching. So if there's nothing more, if there's nothing more, I'll have you give your closing remarks, and then we can call it an evening. Over to you, Sam.
Thank you so much, Sarah, and thank you everybody who is commented. And we hope that this is helping, that this is going to build our relationship. The bottom line is that we are not islands. We are going to relate with people in our lives every day, every moment, every time. And it is important that we have intentionality in our relationship. Be intentional that you want to build positive bridges, you want to build linkages, you want to build network. And to be able to build this, you have to respect and value the other person. That is so critical. If you value the other person, no matter who he is, whether it's your boss, whether it's your peer or your subordinate, valuing people will always bring the best out of them. And we will be able to develop better relationship just valuing the other person. And that will be my takeaway. And I want to thank all of you and wish you all a very, very good evening. God bless you. Thank you also, Sarah. Thank you, Kofi.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sam, the team, all our viewers. And as we said, we are here every Saturday, and make a date with us. Those who were not able to get all the presentation, if you got onto the call late, This is always posted on our site, the CTL site, and you will even get a link for you to listen and to share. Share it among your network so that they will also learn and become good leaders. So until next week, and as Sam always says, tomorrow is Sunday. Don't forget to be grateful and go to church, right? Those of us who are Christians. So over to you, all of you, go to church and be grateful and thankful. Upon that, I just want to wish you belated Thanksgiving Day, as the U.S. has celebrated Thanksgiving last Thursday. Thanksgiving to all of us. So have a lovely Saturday, and we'll be here next week, same time. YouTube, Facebook, like it, subscribe to YouTube, and also like our LinkedIn pages. God bless you, and see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hello everyone, my name is Elsie and I'm excited that I just completed a 15-week journey with the CTL Africa team on the 15 Laws of Invaluable Growth by John C. Maxwell.
From the law of pain, I also learned that every problem introduces a person to himself. Honestly, till you face a problem, you wouldn't know the things that you actually have within you.
The journey for me personally was a wake-up call. Before I joined this journey, I wasn't actually learning at all. I wasn't adding any logic to what I knew.
So the law of trade-off is saying that you have to give up to grow up. So things that I think are not going to have maximum impact on my life, I have to trade them off.
I want to grow. I am not stopping now. I am continuing. And as far as I'm concerned, like it says, you cannot give what you don't have. I definitely will have to give what I have learned off to others and then get more so that I can continue giving. I am not going to be a reservoir. I am going to be a river, and therefore I'm going to continue learning to be able to give of my best.
Ordinary people can achieve extraordinary results on a consistent basis if they have a system, if they have a plan.